Is it a 1-2 count?
We didn't even get a count in on that.
I need to get one of those card things that goes
action.
That's a good call.
We got to put that on the list. What's up, you guys? Happy Friday. This is Conversation Corner 119. We are getting up there in the numbers for sure. And actually, the weather has been kind of crazy, but today is okay. The weekend has kind of a gloom outlook, but there's some really cool stuff going on this weekend.
You're dang right.
Which we'll get to in a second. But today we really wanted to chat with you about investing and building wealth in real estate. So please, if you're watching, stick with us for a little bit. We're definitely going to get into some good information on what you need to know. If you are interested in purchasing real estate as an investment and utilizing that to build wealth and your net worth over long term.
Yeah.
With that said, I think I'm going to let Ryan run on it a little bit, and then I'll chime in as well.
So I think it's becoming more and more popular. As we all know, this is the number one thing that people are investing in now is real estate. Yeah. So in years past, it's always been stocks, gold, silver, bonds, what else? Other things that people have been investing in, and those have kind of ranged 1 through 5 here and there, and now it's obvious real estate has become the number one thing that people are investing in. And so I think that begs the question that I get asked a lot is, okay, Ryan, that's great. I recently bought a house, or I've been living in a house for a couple years. How do I even get started in buying up some investment properties? And that's something that you can talk about for hours. But I think we're going to try to hit on some of the basics and then see what the feedback is from you guys. Again, feel free to make comments or whatever as we're talking so we can address some of your questions. Because I think this is a topic that a lot of people enjoy having, and people are definitely intrigued and want to know, how in the world do I get involved with this? And so I think the first thing is, obviously is you want to find out financially where you're at. And that's where I'm going to turn it over to Levi and let him kind of talk about kind of the first few steps to take or things to think about when it comes to your finances and moving forward and how to get that kind of ball rolling.
So buying there's a lot of different types of real estate, right? There's residential, there's commercial. You could look into single family homes, multi-unit properties as well. There's different categories with each one of those, and then different qualifications if you're looking to utilize financing and things for those different types of properties as well. So we have to kind of really look at what your goals are. But as far as a mortgage standpoint, why I love investing in real estate is because, like Ryan said, it's not only is it one of the easiest ways to build wealth long term, it's one of the least risky, in my personal opinion, because you're allowed to actually leverage someone else's money, essentially. Especially if you do financing on a property, your relative requirement to get into a property is very low. With a 15% down minimum payment or minimum down payment on an entry-level investment property, if that's a $100,000 property, roughly your down payment's going to be $15,000, which is a lot of money, yes, but when you're talking about having a property that will earn wealth and continue to appreciate over time, and that you can also rent out to make money off of, and endless possibilities, it's a very small barrier to entry to get into. So I love the fact that you can leverage someone else's money to help you start to build wealth, especially on a long-term, a buy and hold investment strategy. It really makes sense. It's pretty easy actually to get qualified for an investment property. You do have to credit debt to income qualify, and of course, the down payment, as long as you have anywhere from 15 to 20% down, you can utilize most conforming loan options. And of course, message me or comment down below. We can chat a little bit more about those details. Single family, very easy to get into. When you start to get into multi-units, there's different financing options that are available there as well. But really, why Ryan and I love this is because if you come in with a plan, and this is something we can help you on, whether
Yep.
hey, I want to get one investment property by the end of 2018, or maybe by this time next year I want to have 3, 4, or 5. We can help you strategize on how to do that. Sometimes you may not even need to utilize financing for a purchase of an investment property. You can find some really good deals out there, or some rehab properties. Sometimes you can scoop them up, and you may not need to acquire financing if you have cash on hand, which is the preferred way to buy an investment property, right? But that, of course, the downside would require a lot of initial cash investment from you.
Right. And I think a lot, that's what a lot of people think of.
Yeah.
I think is,
I gotta buy cash.
when I have the first conversation is like, well, I don't have $75,000 or $80,000 cash to go pay for this investment property. And I'm like, dude, you don't need that. All you need is the 15% down, or you're leveraging other people's money, right? You find somebody else that wants to invest with you.
Yeah.
And then that number isn't so bad. And so I know I've got high school friends that I know they have numerous properties. 4 of these guys went in together, and they actually live in Lincoln, and they actually go and they buy investment properties together. And so they've started LLCs together. They've done all this stuff, and they've wanted to create more cash flow for their families.
Yep.
And they obviously thought, well, if there's 4 of us, that makes it a lot easier to go purchase some of these properties than it does if we're all by ourselves.
Yep.
So again, it just kind of depends on your goals and the people you want to work with. Like, I know some people that are like, I just want to do it on my own. I don't want to work with someone. I don't work well with someone. So there's the people that do that. Then there's the people that team up. There's the people like my friends who go 4 or 5 or 6 in, and they go and buy some of these investment properties. So there's numerous ways to do it. But I think the biggest thing that a lot of people are starting to realize is the cash flow, right? It's the, well, if I could find a way to bring in $300, $400, $500, $600 a month outside of my job, how could I do that? Well, here's a perfect opportunity to do that
and create passive income. Which is one of the major benefits to investing in real estate. Is you don't want to necessarily buy a house just to ride the appreciation. And what that means is you don't want to buy a house just on the idea that it'll continue to appreciate and make money in equity and value year over year, because if anything, the mortgage crash has taught us sometimes on the contrary. The market does tend to boom and bust a little bit here and there if you look at market trends. So you don't want to ride the appreciation, but if it's a long-term investment, the equity position is always going to end up netting you more money long-term. But in terms of a passive income cash flow standpoint, if you buy a house, just to give you an example, most people look for an investment return of at least 1% of what the purchase price is. If you can do better than that, that's awesome.
So what do you mean by that, so people understand?
Great. So if you buy a house for $100,000, the general rule is that you would want to rent it out for a minimum of $1,000 a month in order to cover the note costs, cover your overhead, so to speak, and any maintenance and things like that. And then you may not be cash flowing or making a lot of money in that example if you're only at the 1% ratio, but you still have numerous tax benefits. You're able to depreciate the property long term, and you can work with your CPA to do stuff like that. So you're going to get a lot of write-offs, cash back, things like that, and incentives for your taxes. That definitely makes sense. So that's kind of the general rule. If you can rent something out for more than 1%, then obviously it makes a lot more money, right? Or a lot more sense, right? If you buy
a lot more cash flow.
And as an example, let's say you buy a house for $75,000 in Benson. Maybe it needs a little bit of love. You put 15% down. Your mortgage payment, roughly, depending on the tax rate, is going to be in the $500, $600 mark. But you can rent it out for $1,200. If it's 3.2 or whatever it is, so you're going to be cash flowing that property in a big way. Now you won't get your initial investment maybe back in terms of the down payment, closing costs. You might not get that back for 2, 3, 4 years, but the property will be cash flowing month 1. will be turning or essentially allowing you to build up a reserve account. And then ultimately, once you get to the break-even point of your initial investment, you will be at a cash flow positive, and you'll just be bringing it in.
And I actually something that came to mind where I think we probably need to do another conversation corner on, as it revolves around this, is once I get one or two properties, Levi, you know, everybody always says once you get one or two, it starts the ball rolling, right? And it starts the ball rolling because you start creating this equity over the years in this house, and then eventually you can borrow against it, you know, with the equity that's in it. So if you have $80,000 equity into it, now you could take out $40,000-$50,000 and you could use that money to go purchase another property. And so as you can see, as the ball starts rolling, then that's where you hear a lot of these people that are like, man, I've got 18 units, I've got 20 units, I've got 25, and you're like, how in the world are they buying all these? Well, it started with one or two, and then they started snowballing this. And we can get into more details of how that works and what that looks like, I think, on another episode. But I just wanted to touch on that because I think some people think, okay, great, I get one, but then how do I go get more? And that's something that we can talk about later.
Yeah, and that's just really, again, it's about leverage, guys. It's about taking something that you have and leveraging it so that way you can utilize your own assets along with someone else's money in order to make you money, right? So Ryan mentioned that. I think another good thing, also another good idea, is when you start to have numerous properties, you can go get a standalone credit line. There are some banks, unfortunately not myself, we don't allow standalone credit lines, but there are some banks in town who will do standalone credit lines that are not secured to a property. So it's not like doing a refinance or having a home equity line. You can just get an individual line of credit. The more assets and wealth that you have, the bank will extend credit to you with no security instrument, which is great because now you can utilize that revolving line of credit to go buy and purchase properties. And then, let's say you go buy a house, fixer-upper, 30 grand, you use a $30,000 line of credit. You get the house all ready, rehab it, get a tenant in there, start to rent it out, and then you're paying back the line of credit with essentially your own money. You're paying yourself back. Now you can utilize the line of credit again, do it over again, rinse and repeat.
Love it. Yeah, so I think we wanted to start maybe a little bit of the series because it's a lot of questions that we're getting.
There's a lot of info, for sure.
From a lot of people. So, do we have any comments, questions?
Nothing has popped up.
Okay. No questions or comments. Unbelievable. No, I think it's good because I think there's a lot of stuff that we can cover moving forward, talking about some of these things. Because again, we want to educate you, we want to inform you of what people are doing, how they're doing it, and then have a discussion about it. So that's kind of the goal moving forward, and hopefully we'll get some feedback from you guys as far as maybe comment as you watch this video later about, okay, what are the things that you want to know about investing in real estate? You know, whether that's on the lending side, whether that's on the rehab side, you know, if it's a flip versus an investment like a rental property or things like that. And then we'll do our best to try to answer those questions moving forward. But I'm gonna put a stop to that because we're getting over our time here. But we got to get our plug in because tomorrow
this will be owned by some lucky individual. Tomorrow after our barbecue, we're gonna announce it.
Yeah, not just the beer.
Everything.
Not just the beer. Everything. So everything that you see here is going to be raffled off. And if you don't know, go to our Facebook page, find the photo of this, and then read the directions and find out how you can be entered into this contest. It's essentially free.
It is.
I mean, we put some money into it, obviously, to buy it, but we want to give it away for free to someone like you. So go read up on those directions, figure that out. Tomorrow, barbecue. So 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock.
12 to 2 at Lawrence Youngman Lake, which is right off 192nd and Dodge.
Yep.
And we are going to be out there hanging out. We're going to have all this stuff out there.
Dang right. If it's raining, I don't care. We're doing it.
It should. The weather looks pretty good, actually. We're going to have some cool yard games, and Ryan and I will be chilling, grilling. Chilling and grilling.
Ooh, I like that.
Chilling and grilling.
Mhm.
We're gonna have we'll have some kind of some swag for people who show up, want to grab some little knickknacks and stuff, and just hang out with us. And if you want to just come support, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And come get some free grub. And some
Heck
food.
yeah.
So we will see you guys there. Conversation Corner 119 is in the book. We're off to 120 next time.
Next week. Yeah.
And that's going to be more on some investing, hopefully. So comment below. Let us know what you want to know about. And we will get prepared and ready for that. And with that being said, you guys have a good weekend. If you're getting out there, enjoy the College World Series.
Yes.
And
CWS.
get you some of that.
We went
'cause
last night. It was fun.
It is. We did have fun. We sang.
We did.
We did. We sang a lot. And our girls just talked and we just
True.
chatted and watched some baseball and sang.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, get there and sing some songs too. So, see you guys.
CC.
Have a good one.
Peace.